Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. Last week, on February 19th, there was an anti-war rally, the Rage Against the War Machine rally, in Washington, D.C., which has been the largest anti-war rally so far in the United States. This past weekend, there were anti-war rallies across Europe in major cities. Collectively, those rallies garnered tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of protesters. Each of these protests are in favor of peace negotiations regarding the Ukraine conflict. And some people make the mistake of believing that anti-war means weak defense. The rallies in Europe, many of them were calling for the withdrawal of their countries from NATO. That doesn't mean dissolving their own country's military. If you say you want the United States to stop taking part in the Ukraine conflict, that doesn't mean dissolving our military. People are not in favor of a weak defense. I myself, I am anti-war. That doesn't mean that I'm anti-defense. I am in favor of a strong defense. If the United States were attacked directly, then yes, I'm very much in favor of an appropriate response to that. But the point is, these rallies have gotten larger and larger. They started off with a few dozen people, then went to a few hundred, and now the largest one, thousands of people in Washington, D.C. There is another anti-war rally that is coming up on March 18th. Mark your calendars in Washington, D.C. I will put a link to the website for that rally in the description. One of the problems with this is that so many people cannot afford to take off from their jobs and rent hotels, go across the country. It's one thing if you live in the eastern United States to go to Washington, D.C., as opposed to if you live in New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho, California, try to get to Washington, D.C. It's a lot more of a challenge, and you would have to have the resources and be able to take time off from work, probably, if you're driving, but otherwise, you would have to be able to afford the plane ticket and transportation and hotel, and most Americans cannot afford this. These rallies need to expand to more cities so that they get more inclusion. If they are expanded to more cities, then collectively these rallies would include hundreds of thousands, even millions of Americans speaking out against this. Most Americans are against the money and resources, their money and resources being sent to Ukraine, weapons, the deaths. War destroys lives. It destroys economies. It destroys entire cultures. Right now in Ukraine, most of the men of reproductive age in Ukraine have been killed or permanently disabled from that conflict. This is going it is going to take. Can their culture, even their society, rebuild? Are they going to survive as a society? It's highly questionable whether they will. Even if they do recover in that respect, they're going to be in debt for generations. They're not going to be able to afford to pay off the debts that they have incurred from this conflict. More and more Americans are becoming aware of the fact that this conflict did not start last February. It started in 2014. Being in favor of peace negotiations does not mean that you are pro-Putin, pro-Russia. It means that you're in favor of ending this conflict, stop it where it is, and sit down and talk. Nobody is talking to each other that needs to talk to each other. And that is the only way any conflict ever ends, is through diplomacy. No war ends without diplomacy. No, you cannot. We are not going to crush Russia. It's not going to happen. And by the way, these protests are also against starting a war with China. Anybody that is in favor of starting a war with China is clinically mentally ill. There is no way to win that. As far as Ukraine is concerned, if Ukraine wins, what does that mean? There is no winning this. When your economy has been crushed, your people have been killed, you're not coming back from that. How many children in Ukraine are going to grow up without a father? Or with a father that is permanently disabled, physically and mentally? The ones that survive physically are going to have permanent PTSD. The fighting that is going on there is absolutely violent and brutal. Those men are not coming back mentally intact. They are broken for the rest of their lives. So the Ukrainian economy has been crushed. The sanctions have failed and had a boomerang effect on Russia. And Russia has expanded trade, and their economy is expected to grow this year more than Germany, more than the UK. So the European economy has been damaged, possibly beyond repair. The United States economy has taken significant damage, and it is going to take years, possibly decades, to recover, if we are able to recover from the damage that has been imposed on us. One of the problems that I have seen with these rallies thus far is that no current presidential candidates have attended these rallies, but aside from myself, I have not seen any current presidential candidates that are actually anti-war. Some people think that Bernie Sanders is anti-war, but he is not. Just look at his record. Look at his current record regarding Ukraine. He is not anti-war. And so don't expect to see him at one of these rallies. We have seen at the Rage Against the War Machine rally several anti-war candidates: Tulsi Gabbard, Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich, Jill Stein. They have spoken. Now, I regret the fact that I was not able to get to the Rage Against the War Machine rally. I'm going to be honest and say that I didn't even think about asking if I could be one of the speakers there. But I am going to try and get to one of the next rallies, the one on March 18th. It's questionable. Like many of you, I have to work. I had just started a new contract, and it would have caused problems. We were already short of nurses, so it would have caused a major issue if I had gone to that rally. The person that was working with me worked 7 nights in a row so that I was not working by myself. So if I am able to make the March 18th rally, it's going to be because I'm able to juggle my schedule in some way to enable that. Otherwise, I might have to wait until the one after that. But these rallies get larger and larger. If you are not able to make it to a rally, many people are afraid of going to these protests. Or they're just not able to because of other commitments. But some people are afraid of violence breaking out. They're afraid of getting arrested for being at an anti-war rally. If you, for some reason, cannot or are afraid to attend one of these rallies, that doesn't mean that you should be silent. You should be signing petitions. You should be writing email messages to the White House. Go to the White House website. There is a place on there that you can write to the president on that website. Contact your elected officials. Write them an email. Send them a letter. Whatever. Speak out. Add your voice. Most Americans do not support the U.S. involvement in Ukraine. We do not support going to war with China, which would destroy the entire American Navy. Trust me on this. War with China will destroy the entire American Navy and leave us without a naval defense after that for decades. And like I have pointed out, being against war doesn't mean that you are a pacifist, that you are against having a defense for your country. I am anti-war. That doesn't mean that I am a pacifist or think that we don't need a strong defense. I think we do need a strong defense if we are actually attacked, which has not happened. We need to keep adding our voices. We need to keep speaking out. Not just once, over and over. And we don't need to wait for a rally, for a protest to speak out. We need to make this a constant barrage of our own. Keep writing letters, keep writing emails, keep speaking out, keep signing petitions over and over. We need to make this a non-stop pummeling of our elected officials that we do not support this. And if they support warfare, we do not support them. This crosses all political lines. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Green Party, etc. No matter what, no matter who you are, if you are against warfare, don't look at whether the people sponsoring a rally have any political ideology, just go. This is for one purpose. It doesn't mean that you're signing up for anything. In fact, don't sign up for anything. You know, if somebody says, here, let me get your name. No, don't give them your name. Don't give them your email. Don't give them your phone number. None of that. Just be there if you can be there. If you write to the White House or your elected officials, you don't have to give them your political ideology. Yeah, they can probably look it up if they spend that much effort, but if they're getting so many of these emails and messages and letters, then are they going to look up every one of us? Yeah, that's a possibility. But then what are they going to do? What are they going to do with that information when they're getting all these messages from every direction? There's nothing that they can do except to start listening to their constituents. We need to boycott companies that support warfare. Anyway, I am hoping to see you at one of these upcoming rallies, one that I can make it to. But speak out. Be part of this. We need an anti-war movement. And it is growing across the planet. There are more and more people across America, across Europe, that are speaking out. Be one of them. Share information about anti-war rallies everywhere you can across social media, in your daily lives. Yeah, it's perfectly fine to talk with your friends and coworkers and family members about an anti-war movement. Anyway, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand my presidential campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.